Okay, guys, we're back. We're now with the next run. Here with UnFantasmaMas.
Also known as Ghost Senpai, if people have problems trying to pronounce my name. So, well, as the announcer said, hello everybody, I am UnFantasmaMas, and this is Pepsiman. This round got an incentive that was to play the cutscenes and turn this round into a cutscene person run, so we met the incentive?
Yes, we did.
Nice. Thank you, I need to say thank you everybody for your donation. And are we live or something? Because unless I don't see my image on the principal stream.
1 sec. Hey guys, we're back here with Ghost Senpai with the next run. Go ahead.
Okay, so hello everybody. As the announcer said, as Dark Sky said, I am Ghost Senpai, and well, this is my first run of the marathon, which is Pepsiman. It was initially the any percent run, but at the same time, this run got the cutscene percent incentive, so I'm gonna ask to the announcer, do we met the incentive?
Yes, we did.
There we go. I just need to say thank you everybody for your donations. I really appreciate it, as you don't have any kind of idea. And well, I think that now it's time to start with the run. So, since this is gonna be cutscene percent. Oh wait, my controller's not working. What's happening? Okay, there we go. So since this is cutscene percent, this is a custom category that doesn't exist already. I'm gonna do the any person route without skipping the cutscenes, and I'm gonna try to give an explanation about what is happening in the cutscenes, just in case that somebody doesn't understand. So, are we ready for the time?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna make the countdown from 3. So, 3. Okay, wait, I forgot to say something. Okay, there we go. I'm fine. So I'm gonna make the countdown from 3. So 3, 2, 1, go. And okay, let's start with this first wonderful cutscene before we start with the real action in the game.
Hey, let's start the game!
Let's start the game. So we're gonna have this first speech that's gonna try to explain the situation that's happening on the game that we need to resolve.
Ah, Pepsiman, you got here just at the perfect time. I got a call that a vending machine ahead ran out of Pepsi, and I was just on my way there when I got a flat tire. There are a bunch of people gathered in front of the vending machine. They want Pepsi, and the word is that they're just about to riot. I plan to head over there as soon as I can fix this flat, but it looks like it's gonna take some time. Can't you do something, Pepsiman?
So, in case that somebody hasn't understood correctly what happened here, the only Pepsi vehicle in all the city got a flat tire, and okay, what's happening? Okay, what's happening with my controller? Okay, there we go. It's working again. So, the only Pepsi vehicle in all the city has got a flat tire, and they cannot refill the only Pepsi vending machine in all the city. So Pepsiman needs to go to that vending machine and give to the people some Pepsis, because they want a Pepsi, but there's any of them on the only vending machine from the city. So that's just the objective from this stage. So this game has 4 stages in total. Each stage has 3 scenes, so technically this is stage 1, scene 1, meaning that there are gonna be for the explanations that we're gonna get, we're gonna play 2 scenes, and then we're gonna have a boss fight or something like that. You're gonna see that later on the run, so you're gonna try to take your own explanations about it. And well, besides of the cutscenes, I'm going through the any person route, which means that I need to go as fast as I can, trying to avoid the Pepsi cans. As we can see, I got 10 on this stage, and the reason why do you skip the Pepsi cans on the stage, it's because at the end of the stage there's a counter that tells to us how many Pepsi cans do we got. So the more Pepsi cans we got, the more slower it's gonna move to us to the next stage, as we have seen here. On next stages, just for safeness, I'm gonna try to catch some Pepsi cans, because when you finish a stage, for every 25 Pepsi cans, you gain an extra life. So for safeness purposes, I'm gonna go for some extra lives later on the run. And if I die, it's not gonna be a big problem, since the game has a continuous section. So if, for example, if I lose all my lives on this stage, the game allows me to continue up from this point, so that shouldn't be a big problem for me on the run. Okay. And also, I can get hit just 3 times, and okay, that was bad. But never mind, I got it. Okay, I see what happened, my controller blocked again. Sorry about that, so that's the reason why the game wasn't responding to my input. So for every 10 Pepsi cans, you're gonna refill your health, and sometimes I'm gonna be doing that just in case that I got hit accidentally. And now we enter to the Pepsiman Pro Skater mode. Learn something, Tony Hawk. So, and also on the first stage, as we have seen, there was a part when I was in a garbage can, and for some reason, if I pressed left, Pepsiman moved to the right, and if I moved to the right, Pepsiman moved to the left. Basically, this game is an auto-scroller, so the way that you move faster is just press the D-pad up button plus the square button to make that Pepsiman dashes. Besides of that, if you don't press any button, Pepsiman is gonna go straight. And well, basically that's the way that you play over here. And now we have give these people, started from Street Fighter 2, the Pepsis that they needed. So it's time to move to the boss stage or something like this. Oh, that's the Pepsi vehicle that we have seen before, and I am aware that that should have hurt. So yes, this is the first boss battle, and well, it's in some point we can consider this also as an auto-score, because Pepsiman likes to go in the middle of the street when somebody put all this random stuff over here, and it's better going this way instead of going through the sidewalk. So, and this takes like 1 minute. Next boss battles are kinda similar and just add a couple of seconds. And we have seen here, I got hit twice. This is something bad. You can't just get hit 3 times in a row, and there we go, I defeated the boss fight. You just can't get hit for 3 times in a row, and obviously the 3rd hit means that you're gonna lose a life, and since there's any Pepsi cans or checkpoints on this stage, you need to start again from the start of the stage, making that you lose a huge amount of time.
You're doing pretty good.
Thanks for telling me that I'm doing pretty good.
Have a Pepsi.
I forgot to take my Pepsi, now that I'm remembering it.
Next stage.
And by the way, the broken English, also known as English, which is a Japanese English, has been done on purpose. I'm gonna explain that later. So now it's time to hear the plot of this 2nd stage.
Pepsiman! There's a building on fire just ahead. We need to get there immediately, but look what's happened! According to reports I have heard, they got the fire under control, but there are some people that couldn't escape fast enough and are trapped on the roof. They are extremely exhausted, and it doesn't seem likely that we can get first aid to them in time. Can't you give them something to help revive them, Pepsiman?
Okay, let's think about this. A build was caught on fire, the fire is under control, but the people cannot be rescued for now. In some way that's something good, that everything is safe for now. But we need to give them something that can thirsty. And now it's time to go to see that people and give them some Pepsi so they can be relaxed. Also, this game is a PlayStation game released in 1999 as a Japanese exclusive game. But there's a curious story about this game, mostly in Latin America, since I'm from Mexico, and also this game was so popular at the time, and I'm going to explain the reason about it. And we need to remember what I've said about this game, that it's a Japanese exclusive title. The reason of why this was just released in Japan, it's because we know that first of all, Japan is Japan, so they used to have mascots for their brands, and this was a Pepsi mascot, I believe Pepsiman, who was a superhero to give some Pepsis to the people that need one at the moment, but on all its ads, after giving the Pepsi, something bad happened to him in a kind of funny way. So, in some way, this game was a kind of advertising game title. Okay, that was bad. That was my speed. Never mind. This was a kind of advertising title since at that time Pepsi was having a new image, changing the old design. So this was a kind of advertising about that new image change. But surprisingly enough, this game hasn't sold very well in Japan, making that a copy of this game gets so expensive to get. I think that the most cheapest copy that I've found cost like $140, between $120 and $140, being so rare. And some years later, probably starting between 2000 and 2001, thanks to the massive piracy that the PlayStation console got at that time, mostly in Latin America, the game was so highly popular because Japan is NTSC, America it's also, and the mod chip that the console got at that time helped in some way to have region-free games, making that some Japanese titles get released on get so well known in Latin America, or also sometimes some PAL games with NTSC patches were released here. Thanks to that, I got access to some games in Spanish because, and at that time the games were just in English, and that was one of my motivations to learn the language. So, thanks to the piracy, Pepsiman was very well known, and to today it's still being a popular character if we talk about retro games. And that's a fun fact, since in Japan people hadn't liked the game, but in many parts of Latin America this game was so popular and still being played to the day. So also that's one of the reasons why I run this game, mostly for the sentimental value. And yeah, it's kinda curious how, thanks to the piracy, some games can turn popular. And also some years later, with a most advanced/skilled internet, people around the world known about the existence from the game. So I can say that I have been playing probably this game since 2002, when was the first time I have played this game. At the same time, I was surprised that some parts of the game were in Japanese and other ones on English, but I haven't cared about that, honestly. When I was a kid, I played this game the first time when I was 5 years old. So. And now we reach the building on fire, and we give some Pepsis to the people. And as we can see, unfortunately Pepsiman wasn't able to reach the build, but at last he was able to give the Pepsis to the people. And what's this? I think this is it should be? Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is the second boss fight. Now it's a red pizza truck. I don't know if somebody understood that reference, you know, red against Pepsi. I'm not gonna say what it's trying to refer. So again, we have this auto-scroller, and at least the good part of this boss fights is that all this random stuff doesn't appear randomly. They are in the same position most of the time, so you can easily remember where they're gonna be. And also, if I don't get hit, this stage just gets more easier, because if I get hit, I'm gonna get so close to the truck, meaning that I'm gonna have less time to react. Talking about all the items that are gonna spawn in all the stage. And there we go. This was the second boss battle, and officially up to this point we have beaten half a game of the game. So yikes, time to keep going through stage 3, and time to keep watching the cutscenes of the game. And I wonder if somebody has found some kind of logic up to this point for this title, because believe me, we're gonna reach a point that if you haven't found any logic, you're not gonna find anything else.
Pepsi for TV game.
Pepsi for TV game. So now it's time to hear which is the objective from this stage.
Pepsiman, a plane full of passengers had to make an emergency landing in the desert. We were on our way there when the helicopter broke down. Fortunately, no one was hurt or killed. But in the middle of nowhere, right in the middle of the desert, and they are all exhausted. Another helicopter is on the way, but it looks like it's going to take some time. Isn't there anything we can do to help them until that helicopter arrives?
So, an emergency landing from a commercial plane. The good part is that nobody was hurt or killed. So, we need to find that people and give them something refreshing. And okay, my controller disconnected again. So since it disconnected and I lose some inputs here, I'm gonna try to change my movement. I'm gonna make some damage boosting here, because if I got hit directly for one of the trucks, that's an instantly death. We don't want that to happen. And also if I press the D-pad button plus the square button, I'm gonna make that Pepsiman stops for a bit. And now let's see if I can get some chill movements here. Okay, never mind. It's now having these woods over here, and some of them are gonna be so low and other ones are gonna spawn so high, meaning that the lower ones need to be jumped and the higher ones need to be slide. But there's a frame perfect window to make and slide on the lower ones. I'm gonna see if I can get it, but just in case I'm getting at some Pepsi cans, because I just have one health. I have one opportunity, and again my control disconnect. Okay, rip swag moment. But just in case I'm gonna refill my health again. Okay, my controller keeps disconnecting for some reason, I don't know why. I'm gonna go for some Pepsi cans. Okay, and now I have 3 opportunities to make the swag movement. So let's see if I can get it. Okay, first attempt, I fail it. Time to see if I can. I just have another one extra opportunity to get it. So let's see if I can get it. Okay, I haven't got it. Just wanna catch another Pepsi can, and then I'm gonna be able to try again. There we go, swag movement. It's not supposed that you can do that, but you can do it anyways. So now I'm not gonna take risks, because I'm close to run out of health. And now these motorbike guys for some reason got mad with me. Probably they think that I have quit them their Pepsis, and that wasn't the case. You have seen that, people. I haven't taken any of that Pepsis. So they don't have any logic reason to get mad with me. And also if I get hit by one of them, instantly game over. Sorry, instantly death, not a game over, since I still having 2 extra lives. Because the 0 counts at this game. But since I'm going so faster, I don't need to get bored, and that's a car. The game was trying to troll me, because as you have seen, I can keep on the same spot, having the danger signal, and nothing bad happens since I run faster. At the same time, I don't need to get so comfy about that, because also something bad can also happen. And yes, this is the end of the stage. Now I'm gonna gain an extra life, and I'm gonna try to go for another extra life on the next stage. So I'm gonna be honest with you, and this is not a spoiler. This is your very last opportunity to find some kind of logic on this video game. Because when I finish the next stage, there's not gonna be any point that you can find any kind of it. So you need to be faster, trying to find some logic over here. So keeping now at the middle of the desert, we need to reach that people that made the emergency landing, just to make the day keep calm. Okay, this is a risky part. Usually, there are some few times that I can fail this, since it's a bit complicated to move Pepsiman when he's moving like this on the borrow. There we go, first attempt. I'm really glad that I was able to beat it the first attempt. because there have been some times that I fail a lot, and mostly I used to get a game over screen here. At least if I don't get any game over screen, I'm gonna be glad, honestly, not gonna lie. And again, my controller got disconnected. Okay, at least I was able to notice it before something bad happened. Otherwise, I should have died there. If I have fallen the hole. Also, another swag movement is that in some of these holes, if you keep running, you don't fall down. And again, that's something kinda tricky to perform sometimes. So I'm gonna see if I can get it later on the run. I'm gonna see if I can get it. There we go, I got it. Another swag movement. There we go. Now we reach the plane, and we reach these people. We extend our hand, and now everybody got their Pepsis. So Pepsiman saved the day again. And remember what I have told you guys about the logic on this title? Have you found the logic? No? Well, believe me, up to this point you are not gonna find it. Because yes, this is the third boss fight. Because I'm really aware that this is something that cannot happen in real life. So now we have something more complicated over here. There's not obstacles, fortunately, but these pieces of wood are gonna roll on the floor, and also some of them are gonna be on the air. So I need to be careful, just to don't get and don't receive any kind of damage. Okay, never mind. This is bad. This is bad. Because really, this is a complicated stage if you receive damage. Barely I'm gonna make it. Am I gonna make it? Okay, never mind. Let's start again. As I've said before, it's so bad that you receive damage on this stage, because probably from all the game, this can be all the bosses of this game. This can be the most complicated and frustrating sometimes to beat. And believe me, if you want to run this game, you need to beat first the first objective, which is the most hardest one. That is, beat the game casually, because believe me, beating this game can look easy at some spots, but that's a lie. Believe it or not, the game is kinda hard in some spots. After that, you can get used and it's easy, but besides of that, the game's still having some hard parts that we're gonna see later on the run. Well, this is just one hardest and tricky part that I'm gonna show, and if everything goes fine, I am gonna be able to beat it the first attempt. Before, I used to have a lot of problems on that specific section, but it's now so weird that I get it, so if everything goes fine, I'm gonna be able to beat it the first attempt. We're gonna see that later. I'm gonna explain when that moment happens. I'm gonna explain why does that it's hard. And another good advice, people.
Pepsi for pizza.
Pepsi for pizza. So, I'm gonna make something different here. I'm not gonna explain what's happening. Just try to get your own conclusions.
Pepsiman, it looks like the main computer of Pepsi City went out of control a little while ago from being overloaded. All the roads are affected by the computer and we can't move ahead. There isn't enough Pepsi for everyone, and violence has flared up amongst those wanting Pepsi. Exhausted people are collapsing because they can't refresh themselves with Pepsi. If it continues like this, there will be a worldwide shortage of Pepsi, and we'll have a real problem. Can't you do something to put the computer back in working order?
In few words, there's gonna be another world war if the world runs out of Pepsi. So take care of your Pepsis, people. We don't want another world war or a Pepsi shortage. And now this is the Pepsi City, a kind of vision of the Japanese people about how does the Pepsi's factories in the United States looks like. And also, since the cutscenes are in English, I don't know if the developers of the game, New Gitco plus Pepsi of Japan, was planning to release the game outside of Japan, and that was another bad mistake. That used to happen if you get hit by a car. So I'm gonna get more Pepsi cans in this stage. I'm gonna see if I'm able to get 50. So I don't know how many Pepsi cans did I have skipped up to this point. Mostly for the trickiest part on the next stage, because I don't want to make a... Okay, never mind. I think on the next stage I'm gonna lose the only life that I have on purpose, just if I don't die here. Because the last section can be a bit tricky. Okay, the game dropped my jump input, and for some reason it preferred to make that Pepsiman make a dash. I don't know why, but that happened for some reason. Okay, with this I'm gonna have an extra life. I think that I'm not gonna need to make this dead abuse on next stage. If I catch 50 Pepsi cans. And also that can be a good example about what happens when you catch a lot of Pepsi cans. Jump here, I jump again. Okay, there we go. That amount of Pepsi cans can be translated into 2 extra lives, and there was a time that I got an awful movements on this stage on a PB pace, and then I was close to reach the end, but just when I reached the end, this specific part, the timer went down to 0, and I had respawned from the last checkpoint. That was something awkward, I should say. Oh well, now it's time to move to the very last stage of this title. Well, the very last regular time before we go through the boss fight. And at the end of the stage, we're gonna see which is the hardest part of the game. So it doesn't matter if I catch or not the Pepsi cans to gain extra lives, since it's not so common that I need it on the next stage. I can fail it just one time. If everything goes fine, I'm gonna fail it. We hope that I don't fail it. And also sometimes that arrows can be trolled, because they can, when you receive damage, you cannot move Pepsiman. And if there's a hole, obviously Pepsiman is gonna fall down, making that you lose a life. And this is a complicated section if you keep dashing on the stage, since you have little to no time reaction to see where all the tubes are. Fortunately, I remember some of them, so it shouldn't be a problem. Besides of this, that sometimes the controller / game can be a bit tricky, or troll, and or troll. I keep running. Okay, now this is the complicated section. I'm gonna keep quiet. The reason, well, not so quiet at all, but the reason why this is hard is because the walls are so tight at some point, and obviously if you receive one hit, that's an instantly death. So now here starts the complicated section. Yeah, like that. Don't worry, I'm gonna make it. Usually you just fail 1 or 2 times, but not 3. There we go. First attempt. And as you have seen, it doesn't matter how much save time you have, you respawn, there's a specific time, and it's gonna keep all the time on the I'm just saying how it's called. And timer that the stage has. And well, now I'm gonna reach the end of the stage of the game. Very last cutscene during the game before we watch the credits one. I don't know why for some reason that happened, but it happened for some reason. So we have this perspective from the first boss, or well, that was something that we were thinking about it, because that wasn't the case. So, this is the very last stage, and the last boss fight. So we need to be ready for the time, because as I've said before, this stage really takes like 1 minute, between 1 minute to 1 minute with 6 seconds, usually. So the time is gonna finish when I lose the control of Pepsiman, because as we have seen, the game turns into a kind of widescreen mode once I beat the stage. So that's gonna be an indicator that the timer is gonna be finished. So also you can see the HUD display at the top of the screen. Okay, one hit. This is not good. This is not good. Not like this. Not like this. Okay, and time. Okay, that was so close, I should say. And well, I think that that was everything with the run. This was Pepsiman.
You got it! Yeah!
And I got it. So this is the time to watch the burlesque cutscene that makes it with the credits.
Everybody Pepsi! Drink Pepsi!
And this is also a personal phrase for me.
Pepsi. Only my choice.
Remember, guys, to drink Pepsi. And well, this was Pepsiman. Any version plus cutscenes, also called, thanks to our guy, the Bikes, cutscene%. I hope that you really appreciate this run. Some few mistakes, but besides of that, I think that it was something decent. And also, and you say again, thanks everybody for your donations and making this run possible. Also thanks to the people from the staff for considering introducing this title on the marathon. But this is not the end of this. We're gonna see next. Well, before I continue talking, I think that that's not something healthy, as we can say.
Pepsi is...
I mean, I'm a big fan of Pepsi, but I'm not gonna do that any time of my life. So well, this was everything. This was Pepsiman cutscene%. Thank you for everybody for watching this run. Now it's time to watch Scooby with F-Zero for the Game Boy Advance, and then I'm gonna be back with Crash Bandicoot Warp. So keep tuning in the marathon, keep donating, people. We are getting this. Remember, every donation is important for the future. See you in a bit, people.